Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to our mobile base, currently surrounded by enemies. In today's video, we're going to be making a brand new main vehicle, using a different movement system. So far, I think I've used the same movement types a few too many times, so today we're either going to be using the Geocorp Caterpillar tracks, or the Geocorp Behemoth wheels, because they just look like a lot of fun to use. Now, a question is, are the Behemoth wheels bigger than the Titans? Let's have a quick look. See if I can just put these there. That would be great, but actually we can't because it's too low down. Kind of just shows how big these are, so let's just put up some blocks so we can do this easily. Are you just going to be doing this to be awkward? I think you are. Oh. Yeah, so Behemoth wheels winning by just a tiny little margin there. Actually, why are they meant to be attached? I'm assuming like that. Yep, far bigger. Then we have the monster version, which is a little bit smaller. Wow, that makes the monster version look tiny. Okay, we definitely have to test that out, but also we do have to test out the tracks, because I am yet to use the Geocorp tracks at all. I think I attached them to one craft very quickly, but not actually testing it out. So, an easy way to do this would just be to pop down the tank vehicle, just so we can take a look. Also, today, we're not going to be using the Hawkeye missiles. We've used them a little bit too much, and I think it would be a bit silly to use a new movement type and then use the same weapons again. So no mortars, no missiles. That's the rule. Now, one thing I've heard quite a few times about these tracks is that they're not quite as good as their Hawkeye counterpart, for a number of reasons, but the problem is, people's reasoning seems to be different each time I read it. So it could just be, the game is still in development, I'm in the most up-to-date, there we are, unstable branch, it could be just being updated. Well, turning on the spot is pretty darn fantastic. Oh. Okay, so you can't actually turn when moving by the looks of things. Forward and turn, yeah. I'm actually okay with that, I don't mind that. Honestly, that seems pretty good. The one thing I don't like, surprisingly, is just how this looks. I don't like these side tracks at all, the left and right specific ones. I like the others. I just don't feel like that fits. Is there a different way they're meant to be attached? Because I do not like that. On the other side, we do have loads of the middle track, so it doesn't really matter too much, and these have loads of different connection points. This Caterpillar track has a massive carrier capacity and excellent off-road grip. It's not very fast, though. I'm actually okay with that speed. That speed's fine. Of course, as we add some weight to this, I imagine it is going to slow down, but I quite like that. Okay, so first impressions with that is good, and if it does have the standard carry weight of most of the Geocorp stuff, I foresee very few problems. Now, when it comes to climbing hills, we'll test that in a little bit, but I am really curious about testing the Behemoth wheels, and because of that, I want to test out 4 of them. So let's put down a payload terminal, and let's grab ourselves 3 more. That is way cheaper than I expected. So there's another good thing for that. That is far cheaper, almost half the cost of the Caterpillar tracks. Both of them are grade 3, yeah? This is the biggest wheel available anywhere. It's stupidly big, bigger than a really big thing. When people get these, see these wheels, they can't help but exclaim, "Gosh, that's a really big wheel." They are big. Thanks, description. I was actually looking to see if you said anything about carry weight, but you know what? That'll do too. I'm assuming this is the way they should go on. Could you please go on like your friend? That'd be nice. Am I wrong here? Is this the correct way to place them? I actually can't tell. I think I prefer this way. I don't know if that's correct or not, so I'm not claiming to be correct there. Honestly, I'm claiming to have the potential of being wrong, very much so, but I just really like how that looks. Gives us plenty of space on the bottom as well, so we can easily add some batteries. Yep, it just makes the connection points more sparse as well, so Not sparse. What's the word I'm looking for there? More spread out, so you can't destroy the wheel by simply knocking out this one block, because they'll be attached to stuff on the bottom. Also, these wheels are so much bigger than I keep on thinking they are. They're almost touching. Oh, wow, that is slow. Didn't expect that lack of speed. Really should have, considering Geocorp, but... Oh, that is bad turning. Good on the spot. I think I prefer the tracks going by this. But maybe it's because they're so close to each other. Clearly, they need a bit more space there. I'll try putting them further away, and then I'll also try changing the orientation, just in case that helps in any real way. Yeah, turning is better when they're further apart, and the orientation changes nothing other than looks. It's completely superficial. I don't think I like these that much, which is a real shame, because they are very impressive to look at. I feel like perhaps mixing them, so that you have these wheels and then some other wheels as well to counter some of their shortcomings would probably be the best option. I'm also tempted to try out 6 of them, having a middle version, but it's that speed which really does it. It's just... it's slower than this craft over there, the Abbott, which... that's not good enough. I just quickly tested making the craft a bit wider as well, and that definitely did help with the turning, but it's still the speed problem. So now, let's quickly test out how these things deal with cliffs. No problem at all, absolutely none. And with the really high clearance, that's a bit weird, with the really high clearance and just the overall amount of contact you're making with the ground, I do feel like this may be the strength of these wheels. We are not being stopped by anything. And if you added a couple of thrusters to prevent being beached all the time, which I imagine would happen with something this long, yeah, I feel like that is definitely the strength. And now I'm doing this, I like them a lot more. Terrain just won't stop you. So next, let's test out the Geocorp tracks and make a final decision on what we're actually doing today. Choices, yeah? Well, that was pretty good. And finally, this one again. Yep, that is... hello. Well, we're going to go away from the enemy, but no problems there whatsoever. I do feel like, because of how flat this front is, it could run into a few issues. But if you just changed it for the front... actually, no, they would still have the same issues because of the armor comes forward. Another thought I had is because of how much these act as just a regular block in terms of all those connection points, which apparently was difficult for me to say, we could have essentially an entire bottom section just with tracks. The entire craft would have movement capability, so the chance of being beached or stuck somewhere, very much minimized. Oh, I think we're going to go with the tracks, although I do really want to make a Behemoth craft. Oh, that's the thing. I want the Behemoth craft more because I just want the Behemoth craft than I think it's going to be useful. That's the thing. I just really want one of these. Choices. Difficult. I feel like I'm going to be really irritated using these wheels, and that's the problem. But just look at how impressive it is. The wheels alone are almost as big as Abbott. And this is before we add all of the mass to the top. So I guess the question is, are these good at dealing with really heavy amounts of tech on the craft? Because if they are, then it's definitely worth using, just because we can carry a load of weapons, a load of batteries, and we can make this thing nigh unstoppable. And the wheels would really help that. So, we already have 40 batteries on this thing. 40 Geocorp batteries. This is definitely going to hold a lot of power. So yeah, we're going to try and make this work, but we'll see how it goes. If we don't end up with a craft I'm particularly happy with, I'm just going to save it, forget about it most likely, and then build a version using the tracks. After this, we're going to leave the area. This is meant to be a nomad playthrough, and we have spent way too much time here already. So we're going to try and give this a go. We already have 20 of the Geocorp batteries attached, and we're definitely not slowing down yet. So now we have to decide how are we going to do the weaponry on this craft. We have to pay a lot of attention to the simple fact we are not going to be able to turn to face enemies well. So we're going to need very quick moving weapons which can track the opponent. Things like the auto cannon would actually be pretty good here. Things like the megaton cannon, we could definitely spam these quite a lot to, I'm hoping, quite a lot of success. So how about a bit of both? Will that fit here? Yes, it will. Now if I put that there, and there. Now I know that's not going to be too helpful since they can only fire forwards, but it does mean we can then add the GSO cannons, and they won't be affected by it. Okay. I think that might be a good idea. Definitely going with the GSO weaponry. A bit of a weird one, but we could put some down here as well. Ahem. How about facing the enemy there, buddy? Let's see how good the old GSO cannons actually are. Hello. Well, there goes your backside. Okay, not bad in the slightest. They have been nerfed heavily since their first arrival in the game. Back when Terratech was a bit younger, the megaton cannons were absolutely overpowered. Well, not quite overpowered, they are absolutely huge, taking up a too high spot. But the damage they could pump out was absolutely ridiculous. They had a much faster fire rate, and it seems like they were just all-round more reliable. Now that is ugly. Yeah, let's do something different to that, eh? I've just realised how long-range the Hawkeye Cannon actually is. It's pretty impressive. Sadly, though, with that fire rate, it's not quite as impressive in sheer damage, it must be said. It's similar to the pound cannon, sorry, the megaton cannon, but it takes up a much larger space. And as you can see, when tracking an enemy at this range, rarely do you actually score a hit. But when you do actually get a hit, it's pretty deadly. There we go. Plus, look at the adorable little tank thing I just made. Isn't it cute? We could have actually had 3 of these for the same space as one of the Hawkeye cannons, so let's see how this works instead. The shells are faster as well. Maybe they're not, it certainly felt like it then. Either way, though, with the faster fire rate, it's just way more reliable. So I think we are going to stick with the megaton cannons. Even though I really don't like the look of them too much. That is impressive. These wheels are so big that even the Havoc shields are having a tough time being in a position where they can defend the wheels, but still have some use elsewhere. Maybe there, simply remove that, put that one there, put this here so it still looks okay. Actually, that looks pretty nice. Okay, front wheel. Almost completely protected. Needs to be a bit further back, but of course, that's when you hit the hitbox of the wheel. So, the next shield will have to take that slack. That is very impressive and yet very annoying at the same time. It's a lot easier with the repair bubbles, because as long as the wheel is even slightly in the bubble, it will be healed, so it doesn't matter if it's not covering everything. Okay, so we need to do that again, and then again. We're going to need 3 of these shields, and then it hardly covers the top anymore, so we can't really build up much more. On the upside, we are still looking like a truck, and I've grown to like that. Also, I am growing to like the megaton cannons a bit more, because that fire just looks really impressive. Well, We're made of bubbles now. Hex bubbles, but bubbles nonetheless. Fear the bubbles! By the end of this battle, you will learn to fear my name. Truck Bubbles. You see, in my head that was hilarious, and this is really why I don't try and be funny most of the time. If you're here for a funny YouTuber, oh, you are in the wrong place. We have lost 1 mile an hour! No, we haven't. We've just lost a little bit of acceleration. So, yeah, wheels very good at holding a lot of weight. Kind of expected from something that big with such a low speed anyway. Low top speed, that is. Still, I'm happy enough how it looks so far. No idea how I'm going to do the top weapons, though, because those are the weapons which are going to rotate, so that when things get around us, oh, and they will get around us, we're still shooting them. I'm thinking butt lasers. Far bouncier than I expected. Bouncy bubbles. Hello, I'm here to test out my weapons. Stop moving away. Ooh, that was cool. Oh, okay then. I'm sorry I ever doubted you, Geocorp cannons. Me and you, we're gonna have a beautiful friendship. Here's the thing. I actually like how this looks right now. It's rare for me to say that about one of my creations, but it looks simple, but like it should exist, which is a really weird way of saying that. It looks like it should exist, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Thanks, game. Okay, let's move a little bit, please. You made me squeak then. That's not a good thing. Okay, let's continue on. Like I was saying, it looks totally realistic. No, but it looks like something that could exist, which is rare for my creations. Normally they look a bit odd. It still looks odd, but a bit better than that. Now, with the different gun types, I feel like I just don't want to add more guns. I like how it looks like this, adding... Stop doing that. Adding guns to the sides so that we can turn fire. I just feel like it's going to make it look too cluttered, too much of a mess. So I really need to find a way to blend the guns in, but I'm never good at doing that. And this is why I've been forcing myself to build so many builds, though, because I will, over time, learn how to get over things I'm not good at. That's the whole point. Whoa. That's something I didn't even consider. The Hawkeye Cannons being at such a high vantage point. Look at how far they go. To there. That is really good. The question is, though, will this ever be useful? I don't know. But it is very cool to hit something so far away. Which means, though, we could put them facing forwards and have the same effect, but instead of sideways. Please stop going over that thing. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, honestly. That would look a bit too weird having those two there, but... Okay, well, people wanted me to use this weapon, and now I am. See? I was waffling about one thing and I found out something else. Now that is the true way of the world, I do tell you. Railguns, another weapon I don't normally use. I do really like railguns. As you can see, the range on that shot is ridiculous. But the problem is, you have to be facing directly at the opponent, or at least the weapon does. If you're even slightly off, you normally miss. But if you do actually hit with this weapon, it can be devastating. So I feel like it'll do better on something like the track version of this build. Let's try and hit this target from all the way over here, and there we go. And we missed because we're not actually aiming at the target yet, that's the problem. I am surprised. There we go, did some damage with it that time. Yeah, I don't feel like this is the right type of build for that. One thing I do need to experiment with, however, is the pointer here. No, it's not this one here, sorry, the laser targeting. Now, I don't actually know how this is used. So we have it here. How do we activate that? I have no idea. Whoa, that railgun shot absolutely obliterated the shields. And now it's in range of the cannons, and there it goes. Cannons, yes. Rails, maybe. But I'm not too sure. Ooh. Actually, I have a thought. A rare thing for me, I admit, but still a thought nonetheless. How about if we use them on the bottom like this? Then this way, what we're essentially doing is a carpet fire almost. We're shooting everything in front of us. As you can see, that hits a very, very large area. Certainly a thought. One problem I am noticing, though, is that the front of this craft tends to dip a little bit, and that's really hindering the range of the rails, since they're hitting the floor before reaching their maximum potential. So I need to add some more weight to the back. So I've been testing for a little while, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. We can get up cliffs just fine, our weapons can turn fast enough, and the barrage from the front can be absolutely devastating. There we go. One more enemy blown up, and not a scratch on us. Also, we now have butt lasers. Butt lasers do help. The only concern I do have is very sharp cliffs like this I can no longer get up because we've added so much armor to the front. It's not terrible. It's just a little bit limiting. Still definitely better than our old craft, though. It's definitely better than Abbott at getting up hills and cliffs and everything else. It's just nowhere near as good as some of the other designs we've came up with. Hello there. Oh, half of your craft just went bye-bye through the shield. Okay, yeah, that burst fire from the main weapons is phenomenal. And butt lasers to the rescue there. Goodbye. Yeah, I have really been underestimating the Megaton cannons and the Hawkeye cannons. I wish the Megaton cannons were a little bit further ranged, but when you see this happening... Oh, he's called Captain Hugs. Boop. Sorry, Captain Hugs. Now, before we get back to recharge, one thing I would like to say is I have been testing for a full day-night cycle, and we've only lost 1 bar of our batteries. That's it, that's all we've lost. Which I think is a little bit insane, honestly. I really thought we would have lost far more than that, but apparently not. So, all of those batteries make this very, very difficult to kill, to say the least. Hello there, enemy. Boop. Oh, that's so awesome. Just that sudden burst of damage is so satisfying. It's similar to when the missiles hit after a volley, but it's so much more instant. Oh, you're going to pop so easily. Hello. Oh look, the red light from our laser target is on there. That was glorious. Oh, that is so worth just building this craft. Oh, I want more cannons now. I want to add more cannons everywhere just to do that over and over again. Either way, though, I'm afraid I really am all out of time for today's video. This took a little bit longer than I expected, since I kept on replacing things. I think I'm happy with this craft. I don't know if it's going to be a craft we used all the time, but I do think it is certainly a good alternative to Abbott. But I really think that a track-based vehicle, which is more revolving around weapon spam, might be a better all-rounder. How much battery life do I have left? I have an asymmetrical battery. I will change that right now. Can you please go the right... There? No. There we go. That's better. So, yeah, don't think it's as good as Abbott for the overall use. Think it's going to be a lot of fun. The burst fire's fun, and in brawls, I think this will be a lot of fun versus large invaders. But that's about it. I really hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff. Helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.